Small SUVs are one of the best-selling vehicles on the market these days, and today I have for you one of the best-selling small SUVs, which is Mazda CX-5. I guess you can say this car is decent looking, especially from the front. It has a long hood and kind of an aggressive, front as well. The lights and the grille, they're nicely designed, I guess. One thing I think looks missing on this car is fog lights, because there's a big sort of area here where not much is happening. So if they had fog lights there, that would be, that would look a little better there. So this is the GS version, which is the second cheapest version. So which costs around 35,000. And this car also has a comfort package with it, which is like another $1,600. So with this car, as you can see, there's no front parking sensors, but there is a sensor here for, I think, lane assist, which comes with this package. A little bit of chrome on the windows. I would say the back is not as good looking as the front. The front has a sort of an aggressive look. It looks a little bit small on the back to me, It looks more like a small, like a slightly bigger hatchback rather than a small SUV. Let's open the trunk and see how much space you have back here. It's actually not that bad. I thought it would be smaller than this. It competes with Hyundai Santa Fe and Honda CR-V, which I think those may have a little bit more space, but this is actually not that bad. And you can open the trunk with your remote, and I think you can close it just by pushing this button here. So that's a little bit of convenience. It's not cheap. It still costs you like $36,000 to open the car. So there's a button here which locks it and unlocks it. Most cars they have a sensor in here in the middle that unlocks it, and the button outside is for locking. But this time with this car, the button does locking and unlocking. So let's unlock it. So here's the back. The material for the seats is leatherette, it's not leather. Again, they put this sort of material in the middle, which is a little sticky. When you get in and out of the car, it's a little difficult to slide on that. The legroom is decent. I would expect a little bit more legroom from a small SUV, but you do get air vents, so that's good. A little bit more climate control for the back, I guess. All right, let's get in the front. So as you can see, it's mostly black in here. Just the sport arms and the top, it's like a silver kind of color. You got a sunroof which does open. It's a small sunroof, should be a little bit bigger for this size of a vehicle. It's a good design, I guess, for the dashboard. There's some nice lines. It's a little sleek. The material up there is not that bad. Doesn't feel too cheap. The only problem that I have with the dashboard is this part right here. It just looks a little too simple and a little outdated. I like these things here. They're nice design. You got 7-inch screen there, which is not a touch screen. It is controlled down here. This thing. With the more expensive models, you get an 8-inch screen. I think that one is touch screen. With this one you get Bluetooth, so you can connect your phones, but you don't get Android Auto or Apple CarPlay. So let's talk a little bit about right here. So in the middle you got analog speedometer and rev meter, but on the right there is a digital screen. So this is where you get your gauge for your fuel. So that one is digital. So even though the speedometer and the rev meter are analog, your fuel meter, that is digital. So I guess it's one small leap forward digital wise. Sound system is not that bad. It's okay. Sounds good enough. This car has, as you probably already know, only has a 4-cylinder engine. Yeah, it does have push start as well. Some cars, even at this price range, don't have push start, which is really not good. So it's the 4-cylinder, which makes around 180 horsepower, which is nothing impressive, or it's not that bad either. It is a 4-cylinder though, so it's when you put a 4-cylinder in an SUV, it's a little, it cries a little bit because it's too much work for it. This version, the GS version, doesn't have turbos on it, but the more expensive versions do have turbos, and then you get something like 250 horsepower, which is, I guess, a little better. Still a 4-cylinder engine, but it's better than 180 horsepower, I guess. Let's look at this, what you have here. That's what the interface looks like here. Yeah, so that's pretty much it, I guess. The one thing I want to talk about was with the center here. Like you see, like this thing is a little bit far back, so it doesn't really give enough room for your arm to rest. If they made it as far as here, it would have been better. Then it would be more support for your arm. They sort of like wasted some space here, I guess, with this sort of compartment here, which doesn't hold your cups, and you can't, it looks like it's a wireless charger, but it's not. You can't charge your phones on it. So they should have put these things up there, and this should have been part of this console here, so you have more space for your arms.